Welcome! Today we're making a delicious Korean kimchi tofu stew, also known as kimchi jjigae. This hearty and flavorful stew is perfect for any day and packed with spicy, tangy, and savory goodness. Let's get started on this Korean classic. Let's go over the ingredients for our Korean kimchi tofu stew. We'll start with 2 cups of aged kimchi, cut into bite-sized pieces. The aged kimchi adds a deep tangy flavor that's essential for this stew. Next, we have half a cup of kimchi juice, which intensifies the kimchi flavor. We'll also need 1 block of firm tofu, cut into cubes. Tofu soaks up all the delicious flavors of the stew. For protein, we have 200 grams of thinly sliced pork belly or shoulder, or you can use beef, which gives the stew a rich and hearty taste. For aromatics, we have 1 medium onion, sliced, 2 cloves of minced garlic, and 1 teaspoon of minced ginger. These add depth and warmth to our stew. To spice things up, we'll use 1 tablespoon of gochugaru, Korean red chili pepper flakes, and 1 tablespoon of gochujang, Korean red chili paste. These give the stew its signature heat. We'll also add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce for umami and 1 tablespoon of fish sauce for a bit of savory depth. For the broth, we'll use 4 cups of water or anchovy broth if you prefer a richer flavor. Finally, we have 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil to start cooking, salt and pepper to taste, and 1 tablespoon of sesame oil for a finishing touch if you like. Now, let's get cooking. Alright, let's prepare our ingredients and broth. First, take your 2 cups of kimchi and slice it into bite-sized pieces. Then cut your block of firm tofu into cubes and slice your 200 grams of pork or beef into thin pieces. Next, grab a medium onion and slice it thinly. Mince 2 cloves of garlic and 1 teaspoon of ginger. Then take 2 green onions and chop them, keeping the white parts separate from the green parts since we'll use them at different times. If you're using anchovy broth, let's make that now. Take 10 to 15 dried anchovies and simmer them in 4 cups of water for about 20 minutes. Once done, strain the broth and set it aside. This will give our stew a deep, savory flavor. Now, let's cook the meat and kimchi. Heat 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil in a large pot over medium heat. Once the oil is hot, add your sliced pork or beef. Cook it until it's browned and crispy, about 5 minutes. This step will add a lot of flavor to our stew. Next, add the minced garlic, minced ginger, and the white parts of the chopped green onions. Stir them around and cook until they're fragrant, which should take about 2 minutes. You'll start to smell the wonderful aromas of garlic and ginger filling the kitchen. Now it's time to add the sliced kimchi. Stir it into the pot and let it cook for about 5 minutes. This will help to bring out the deep tangy flavor of the kimchi and meld it with the meat and aromatics. Let's add our seasonings and broth. Start by adding 1 tablespoon of gochugaru, which is Korean red chili pepper flakes, and 1 tablespoon of gochujang, Korean red chili paste. These will give our stew a nice spicy kick. Next, add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce for umami and 1 tablespoon of fish sauce for a deeper savory flavor. Stir everything well to combine. Now pour in 4 cups of water or your prepared anchovy broth along with half a cup of kimchi juice. The kimchi juice will enhance the stew's tangy flavor. Bring everything to a boil over high heat. Once it's boiling, reduce the heat to medium and let it simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. This will allow all the flavors to meld together beautifully. Now it's time to add the tofu and onions. Gently place your tofu cubes into the pot, followed by the sliced onions. Be careful not to break the tofu as you add it. Let the stew simmer for another 10 minutes. This will allow the tofu to heat through and absorb the flavors of the stew, and the onions will become tender and sweet. Keep an eye on the pot and give it a gentle stir occasionally to ensure everything is evenly heated. After 10 minutes, your tofu should be perfectly heated and your onions tender. We're almost done. Finally, let's season and finish our stew. Taste the stew and add salt and pepper as needed to balance the flavors. If you like, you can also add a splash of sesame oil for a nutty aromatic finish. Now add the green parts of the chopped green onions. Let them cook for an additional 2 minutes to soften slightly and release their flavor. It's time to serve. Ladle the stew into bowls, and if you like, garnish with extra chopped green onions and a sprinkle of sesame seeds for added texture and flavor. Serve your delicious kimchi tofu stew hot with steamed rice on the side. And lastly, here are some tips for making the best Korean kimchi tofu stew. Use aged kimchi. Aged sour kimchi is ideal as it has a deeper, more complex flavor that enhances the stew. Customize protein. Feel free to substitute the pork with beef, chicken, or even seafood like shrimp or clams for different variations. Vegetarian version. To make it vegetarian, omit the pork and fish sauce and use vegetable broth instead of anchovy broth. Spice level. Adjust the amount of gochugaru and gochujang to control the spice level according to your preference. Serve with rice. Kimchi jjigae is typically served with a bowl of steamed rice, which helps balance the spicy and sour flavors of the stew. Enjoy your hearty and flavorful Korean kimchi stew.